Okay, finally. Hello.
We're back.
Okay. So welcome everyone to part two, and now we are going to talk about the other aspects of gravity. We have still attitude, vision, and integrity and time management. So let's delve into the vision, which is a very powerful part if we want to have, let's say, a goal that will last for generations.
Oh, is it
And you
attitude?
yeah. Sorry, we are now in that attitude, under attitude. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we were talking yesterday about having that if you missed an opportunity, you can create opportunities for yourself. And we were talking also about how can we how can we know if we are ready. So yeah.
Okay. So in terms of creating opportunities for yourself, it's about becoming resourceful rather than seeking resources. Networking obviously is definitely an important way of seeking opportunities, because like we mentioned before, you're able to, someone can introduce you to someone that can help you do and achieve the goal that you're after. But in terms of resourcefulness, for example, you're in tech, you're a woman in tech and very good at that, you're an expert. And then I also do like book publishing, so we can boss instead of me going out there to hire someone to help me with my website, for example, I can come to you and say, Rania, can you help me set up a website? And this is what I need, and this is what should be involved. And then you can come to me in turn and say, Epi, can you help me write a book and publish it? You know, so we're bartering services. It means that you're not spending your money hiring a book coach. You're coming to me, and I'm not spending money hiring a website technician, because then you can do it for me. So that's how I'm resourceful. You're not just, because sometimes you don't have the money to start what it is that you want to start to achieve your goals. But if you start thinking more than, how can I find resources? How can I be resourceful? What are the skills that I have that I could actually barter and exchange with somebody else? So then that normally helps in that kind of way. And then when we're talking about readiness for opportunities, sometimes fear is what actually keeps us back and draws us back. That fear of, am I good enough? Am I ready? Is it going to be good? Will people think it's rubbish? That kind of fear keeps us in place, and we're not able to actually go out there, because we're like, oh, we need things to be perfect first before we put them out there. And I also say to my clients that when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. The fact that you're asking certain questions in your life and just seeking certain things in your life, it means that you're ready. And that way, a teacher will show up and help you to achieve and accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish as well. So just moving past that fear is able to help you to achieve it as well.
Yeah. And you shared a quote for Brian Tracy, which is, your ability to think is the single most valuable asset and resource in this information age. And I can't find it more true, especially with this overflow of information. You need to have critical thinking in order to discern what is working with you and what is will not working, and just move on. So yeah.
Yes.
And we also talked about that the new economy and the era of job security is vanished, which is we can't also we're seeing more of it right now, especially after the COVID thing. And
Yes.
it's very important to have all these skills that you talked about in the book in order to just overcome this uncertainty. And you also shared a powerful thing under this under attitude, which is the effect of childhood traumas and the importance of healing. And we yesterday we talked about this, and how we are now seeing the social media flowing with information from psychologists, and trying to make people understand more about the trauma essence, and trying to just unlock this black box, let's say. And I found it healthy let's say, phenomena, even though the social media has other has its own disadvantages, but in this area, it's really helping a lot. So you shared your story about having a trauma that you overcome and you turn it into an opportunity. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so it was really powerful.
Yeah.
If you'd like to
Yes.
talk about it or just move into the, yeah.
Yes, sure. I'd like to discuss it
Yeah,
because it's very important.
yeah,
The issue of getting over childhood trauma, because sometimes we don't realize why we're wired the way that we are, but it's only when we go back, normally with a therapist or at least a professional, someone who knows what they're doing, we go back into our childhood in order to understand why have I adopted these unhealthy coping mechanisms. So for example, with me, I know I'm a perfectionist, and it doesn't help much because it means that it
yeah,
stops me from actually doing things in record time. It means that I'm procrastinating, and then I end up just being in that procrastination perfectionism loop. So there are aspects where it does actually help, because like I'm always laughing with my clients and saying, you guys are just so fortunate, because I'm a perfectionist, I'll make sure that your book is up to scratch. It's something that I'll make sure you're happy and more confident to give to people and say, this is a book that I've written, because I'll have made sure that everything is meticulous. All the book covers are like spectacular, you know, all the content, I make sure, because of that perfectionism, it helps. But generally in life, it stops me because it's rooted in fear. That fear again of, if it's not perfect, I can't present it to the world, you know,
yeah,
but then that stops me from progressing within my goals. A healthier mindset to adopt is that of excellence. Excellence is good because it leaves room for error. It means that even if you do make a mistake, or if it doesn't come out the way you wanted to, you can still go back to the drawing board and sharpen it. So it's the same thing when I taught myself during the pandemic, which was like one of the positive things. I taught myself how to do websites, but not the coding websites, but using like special elements like Elementor. And I'm able to do that and actually have created a side hustle out of it. So when I was doing my own one for my travel website, that perfectionism wanted to kick in. But one of my
yeah,
friends who knows me very well says, Epi, you've got to just put it out there. You got to put it out there. And then once you get feedback from people, you can sharpen it. So I ended up doing it that way. And now it's in a state that I'm really, really glad and excited about it. I'm directing everyone, go to this website, you'll be able to see this. I'm proud of it, of the work that I've done. But if she hadn't
yeah,
pushed me and said, you know, just put it out there, I would have still been stuck in trying to make it perfect before I, you know, and now I would have missed out on certain bookings because people are already booking to travel the world with us on our group trips. So if I'd still waited, I would have missed that opportunity. Rania, you need to come
yeah.
to our trip to Bali, by the way.
Yes, I want, yes, of course. I was thinking with myself, yes, I would love to try it once and see you again. And as I told you, I want to take a coaching session with you. And mentioning the perfectionism thing, because I also have the same issue, and but I just try not to have this mindset and just go on. But I also have this dialogue within myself. Okay, the reel is not perfect. The lighting, the you know the conversation, but I just move on. I don't, and it's something I challenge myself to be like this. But actually, I think that maybe 5 or more years ago I couldn't do this. But it's really something you just train yourself to do it, because yeah. It's good to have
Exactly.
it, but
And
as
also,
you said, you don't need to just to you don't need it to allow you to stop yourself and not move on because of it. Yeah, and
exactly. And also on the issue of childhood trauma, I'll just share my
yeah,
story quickly as well. Um, so growing up in my family, I'm the last born of 6 children. So from my culture, I was born and bred in Zimbabwe. From my culture, when you're last born, everyone just believes in children should be seen and not heard. You know, you don't really have a voice you know, in family meetings, they don't even consider anything you've got to do. So it just means you're lost in everything. You're lost to dish out food, you're lost to take a bath, you're lost to do absolutely everything. So you'd find that with that kind of setup, it meant that when we were preparing to go to functions or anywhere, I would end up being late because I was the last one to then get ready and everything, you know. So it was like, but it's not my fault because I was the one that had to bath last, you know. So so many things. I was like just lost. So I got that mindset as a child. I told myself that I'm lost in everything. I'm lost. So when I went to school, I took that to school with me. And you'd find that when the teacher would ask a question, I would whisper out the answer. And someone with a louder voice than me would shout it out, and then they'll get the credit.
I remember reading this and being frustrated.
I was so frustrated because I knew, but I also said it, but because I told myself last, I'd sort of wait for permission to actually speak and be confident. So even if it was like someone would get a badge of the week or certificate of, you know, you're the star student of the week, but I would get frustrated because I'll know that I'm the one that brought out the answer, but still something in me was just telling me that it's okay, though I wasn't okay with it. I did the same thing when we went. I was a very, very good swimmer at school, primary school. So there was one particular race that I was like really, and I could hear people cheering, saying, "Come on, Epi! Come on, Epi! You're getting there! You're getting there!" And they're like really, really excited. So I was also getting excited because I knew that, you know, I could possibly get the trophy and be number one. So when I looked up, I saw my opponent just a few meters behind me, and then I slowed myself down, and that opponent went and actually won the trophy because I slowed down. When I was just, all I needed to do was just reach there and I would have got it. But I slowed down. I was so disappointed. My team housemates, they were like, "Epi, what happened? Why did you slow down?" So when I spent some time with myself to really analyze what was going on, I realized that I'd gone into self-sabotage. I told myself, how can I, the last one, be first? Why should I be first? I'm not allowed to be first because I'm the last born. I'm the last person. So you find that with that cultural setup, the culture had taken my voice. I grew up in a very loving family. I always have to, you know, put that disclaimer out there. Very loving family, you know, parents, brothers and sisters and everything. But the cultural setup stole my voice. So this only changed when I went for a camp, a youth camp. And the first night they said to us, no one is going to bed until every single person stands up and tells us about their family, about their goals and dreams, their hopes, their desires. No one is going to bed until. When it came to my turn, oh my gosh, so nervous. I was like, why should they listen to the last one? What does the last one have to say? So I got up and I started speaking about my dreams and my hopes. And when I looked around, everyone was like listening attentively, like, oh my goodness. And I couldn't believe that they were listening to what the last one, had to say, like what was so important about what I was saying, you know? But when I realized that they were engaging and they were happy about it, I stood up straight, nice and tall. I put my chest out and I projected my voice and I started speaking with confidence, you know? Because then I realized that my voice was important. It was important for me to actually speak my opinion, share what I had to say, and people were interested. So that camp actually really changed my life in that kind of way. And I was a teenager then. So I went back home. I went back to school with renewed confidence. No one could tell me I didn't matter and my voice didn't count. So I was able to find my voice that way. So it was very important. I mean, obviously today I also coach and help people to find their own voice. And a voice is not necessarily like how you speak, you know, public speaking, confident speaking. Your voice is your mission. Why were you sent on this earth? what was it sent, what were you sent here for, and how are you making the impact? How are you walking in accordance with your mission on this earth? So I helped people to find their voice that kind of way. But if you look at it, it was the childhood trauma that had stopped me. That was just one little aspect of me telling myself, and it wasn't anyone in particular in my family that said, oh, your voice doesn't matter. They didn't say it. Was that's just how it was, and that's just normal within the African culture, you see. And that's why I say the culture took my voice that way. So those childhood traumas are the ones that are very important for you to heal and become a better person as well in this earth, and the impacts that you make as well. So yeah, I do like sharing that story.
Yeah, this is inspiring because I think it will also go with a lot of because everyone have their own trauma, and as you said, it's not meant to be an intentional thing that happens to you by others. It's just part of the culture, and still it's a trauma. So yeah. So now we're come to Vision, and you mentioned very powerful thing actually, the danger of not knowing what is inside the subconscious. When you don't know that you don't know, this is really a disaster. And so how can we get out of it? That it's really true. A lot of people don't know that they don't know, and this is the real problem.
Yeah. So yes, it's about fighting ignorance. Sometimes when you think you know it all, you prevent your own growth, and you prevent your own opportunities. You block your own opportunities because you think you know it all. And then you realize that things are not working well towards your goals, and you're missing something. So that's why it's always important to hang around peers that will constantly be like accountability partners to help you, and even mentors that will help to open up your eyes. Have you tried doing it this way? Have you tried doing it that way? Because you don't know what you don't know. And I always say to my clients as well, normally when you're in the picture, you can't actually see the full picture because you're in the picture. It's like if you look on your wall and there's a picture in there, you can't actually see yourself, but someone can actually see the picture and describe what's going on and how it needs to hang straight and everything. But if you are the picture, you can't actually see everything. We all have the blind spots.
Yeah.
And that's why we're also
And
talking.
Yes, please continue.
Oh no, I was going to say that's why we even talk about like Johari's window, where there's a self that you're aware of, and then there's a self that you and others are aware of. There's a self that others are aware of that you're not aware of, and then there's a blind spot as well that, you know, the unknown. So it always helps. It's very important to let other people, so long you trust them, tell you what you can't see, so you become a better person. It's always about growth and opportunities to become and grow into a better version of yourself. So if you're in the picture, they can see the picture more clearly. And then with self-awareness, you can see that this is resonating with me. So I think this is it. And this will help me to achieve my goal quicker as well. Yeah.
And yes, it's very powerful actually, because sometimes we think we know it all, and we're just maybe sometimes everything is working, but as you said, with someone who's seeing the full picture, you might go to more to extra levels that you couldn't go by going alone. So yeah. I love this concept. And you also shared a powerful analogy, which sticked with me, which is when you stand a distance from an automatic sliding door, then the automatic sliding doors, they will not open until you are within a certain radius. However, once you step closer to where the sensors are, the doors open of their own accord automatically, as you said. So yeah, sometimes we just anchoring ourselves with overthinking, and we're not moving.
Exactly.
And we just, all what we should do is just move this one step in order for the door to open. Yeah.
The concept of automatic sliding doors, because sometimes you know exactly what you want, but because of fear, you stay in the distance. But once you start walking towards it, just taking baby steps towards it, the doors start opening automatically because we are in the radius where the sensors are.
Yeah.
But then if you find that sometimes that's why people get frustrated, because they can see that this is a vision, this is what I want, but they're not putting in the work. You're not doing the work required. It's like if I need to lose certain amount of kilos and pounds, there's certain things I need to do. I need to be watching my diet, watching my intake, and exercising. I can't just stay out here, you know, outside the vicinity and expect it to happen by itself. But once I start taking those steps, then the doors start opening as well. So it's very, very important to just move past that fear and walk towards it. You find that the doors actually do open by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And also you shared very powerful, you sum it up actually, the reality creation technique, which is having the vision that you want to visualize. You should look at the frequency, how often you visualize, and how long do you visualize, and how clear your visualization, and the intensity, and having putting all the emotion into this vision. And I just want to clarify that this is not a wishful thinking, because when you visualize, it's a scientific thing. When you just implant this vision into your subconscious, it comes. There are actually studies on this subject, that when you plant these visions, sometimes the athletes actually visualize the miles that they want to run, or the extra record that they want to achieve. And the visualization, it proves with the scientists that their visualization actually works more than the other athletes that only just trained, for example, the ordinary training. So yeah, it's and so it's not a wishful thinking. It's just maybe more important than the actual action, because this is how this is how we are wired, and it's not woo.
Not woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but visualization is very important, but then it just doesn't happen by magic as well, because there's got to be that faith and belief that goes hand in hand with what you're seeing in your mind. So when you've got that insight, it actually helps you. It's almost like having that vision board, but you have it first in your mind, and then you write it down, and then you create the vision board, and all those forces together help you cement it in your subconscious and find a way to be able to get exactly what you need. But then again, it doesn't happen automatically. You need to actually take action and take steps towards achieving that vision that you see. So it's a combination of a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to just end with, as you said, it's important to have a vision that cannot be completed in one generation.
Yes.
This is really, eye-opening. So now let's move into integrity. And you mentioned the very powerful thing, which is the difference. We need to know that we talked about it a little bit, but we can maybe elaborate more, which is the difference between perfectionism and excellence.
Yes, so excellence and perfectionism, for those that were not there at the time, we were talking about perfectionism being rooted in fear, and you not being ready to either put your product out there, or put yourself out there, or put your goals out there, because you want it to be perfect first before you present it to the world. It's the same thing as with me when I was writing my book initially. When I did share my story with the coach, I wanted it to be perfect, and this was stopping me from actually moving forward and writing it and getting the momentum and the ideas and free flow for it to go through. Excellence, as we say, excellence is different, because it gives you room for error, a margin for error, that even if you don't get it correct, if you don't hit the target, you can still just change the strategies in order to still achieve the goals that you want. So excellence is more emotionally intelligent than perfectionism, which is normally rooted in fear. So definitely, yeah, going for excellence always. Excellence allows you to fall, it allows you to fail, and it's okay. You can still pick yourself up and continue. You find that you reach your goals faster once you're in excellence mode rather than perfectionism mode. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned this topic under the integrity because sometimes we think that out of integrity we want to be perfectionists, and it's like a mind trick we play on ourselves in order to just to procrastinate and procrastinate. So yes, so it's not out of so perfectionism is not something out of integrity. You can be excellent, you can reach excellence, and you are still have integrity. So yeah. And let's move to the time management, which is, and you shared some interesting facts. So what would you like to share regarding time management? There was a survey that you shared once, and the reflection points, and I found them really useful.
Okay. So I shared that someone else, okay. Wherever I go, I hear most people say the same thing. I'd love to do it, but I just don't have enough time. A lot of people are saying, oh, I want to start my business. I don't have time, or I don't have knowledge, or, you know, but I want to write a book, but I don't have the time for it, you know? Even if they know it's important, it could make a difference. They're overwhelmed by other tasks and by working, and it becomes too much for them. So why is there such a lack of time? An online survey reveals that some of the top 7 reasons are because someone else is setting your agenda for you, and they fill it with schedules and tasks. So, for example, your boss is the one setting your agenda. That's why you're not having enough time, or your spouse or your child, that they need a lot of attention. So you're not being able to manage your time because it's been taken away by your boss, spouse, or child. And we're not saying don't do this, but once you start analyzing where your time is slipping away, it's easier for you to then manage and prioritize things. So you don't know when to say no and how to say no. Setting boundaries. If, again, a boss at work gives you a lot of work, overwhelms you, and you can't say no, you will never have time to do anything else, because then you just want to please the boss, and you're scared of saying no, you're scared to lose your job, or you're scared to be assertive. But then that is actually what steals your time away. Sometimes we can do so many things at the same time, which is multitasking. And just because you can do it doesn't mean you have to do it all the time. I know us as women, we can be cooking and talking on the phone and washing, doing so many things at the same time, and sometimes we think that's being efficient, but you can't be in that multitasking mode all the time, because then that's what actually steals your time away. You become tired, you become overwhelmed, and you can't do much else after that. And then we want to keep an eye on everything, because the world is complex and changing, and we're constantly distracted. So things like social media, I sometimes find myself going down a rabbit hole. I don't know if you do this as well, Rania, that I'm on TikTok, and I give myself the excuse that this is very, very useful information that will help me for my clients, that will help me for my life, getting over trauma and things like that. But then you go down a rabbit hole, you know, and then you look up and it's like 2 hours gone, and it's like you can't really justify that because you haven't taken action from what you've been seeing on social media. So that actually does become a distraction as well. We need to be monitoring that. And then sometimes our physical workspaces, they encourage distractions. If you've got clutter around, that really makes you distracted. You can't focus because then it's cluttered. And then we're more connected with technology. There's more channels. We spoke about that. And then being generalists, we tackle new things over and over and really don't get proficient. So again, the efficiency is tied into, are you being a perfectionist and just continuing to do the same thing and procrastinating and not actually making progress? Because the more you procrastinate, the more you can't make progress. So that also steals your time, perfectionism, because then you're not able to move forward. So time management also, we're looking at things like priorities, putting things into categories. Is this urgent? Is this important? You know, and if there's an intersection between urgent and important, for example, if your child is sick and, you know, they need attention, that is urgent, that is important, that becomes a priority. You need to do something about it. But other things as well could be important, like maybe you want to sign up to run for a marathon. You know, it's not urgent, so you don't need to immediately do something about it now, but it is important. So you take steps. That way you can put your day into priorities, like, okay, what am I going to tackle today? Is this an income producing activity? Is this productive for me to actually be doing today? And that way it helps you to manage your time as well. Yeah.
And mentioning the social media thing, actually I subscribe to an application that blocks apps that make, so so this application, you just subscribe to it, and it blocks you tell the application what the apps you want to block, and you just and you make it harder for yourself to reach out, and it works actually.
Clever.
Because when you look at the screen time and the time you spend on each app, that's really a lot. And even though it's I have an account and I use social media for work, but no, it's not it's not an excuse. So I use this application in order to help me let's say have this difficult access.
That's very wise, Rania. I'm actually impressed that you do that. And it helps. I mean, for anyone listening, that could be something to do as well, like get subscribed to the app. Sometimes we need to take extreme measures.
It was advice from my friend who's she's working on productivity, and she teaches productivity. So it was an advice from her. So I used it, and it's working.
What I also tend to do as well, because there were times when I used to like work full time, I would just be at the practice on the dot on time, and then I'd end up just fussing and just being flustered that, oh my gosh, I'm not late, but at the same time it means by the time I get everything prepared and tell my nurse to do this and do that, it's maybe like 10 minutes into start time. So I realized that obviously I need to actually be coming in much earlier and ensuring that I actually prepare, I calm down, I have a cup of tea, and everything that I would have needed to do when I came on time, I could do it in time. So what I realized I needed to do to myself was to put my own alarm clock, my own time, 30 minutes ahead. So for example, if it's half 6 now, it's going to be 7 o'clock on my time. So I make sure that when I wake up, my body knows that it's 7 o'clock, it's time to wake up. And it means that I'll make it half an hour earlier. So that helped me just to discipline myself, because I couldn't do it on my own with my own time, like to set my alarm for 5:30. My brain was telling me it's just way too early. I can still make it on time. I can get up and shower and get everything ready, but I still wouldn't make it in good time. So I started doing this, like putting my own clock. So if someone asks me the time, normally I have to subtract half an hour, but then it helps that way because I know that I always make it on time. And I have one of my tutors, one of my mentors used to tell me that being on time is late. You can't be on time. So it means that you always have to be there. If there are meetings, have to be there 5 minutes before. If you're on time, you're late for it.
I remember reading this.
I'm growing into. I'm not perfect. I'm growing into, but at least I've done certain things. I've done things towards it to try and become a better person in that way.
I remember reading that if you are on time, you are late, and then saying to myself, okay, there are things need to work on. So I agree with you. And it's a learning process actually. Time management, it's something you will always find something to learn and to enhance yourself regarding time.
Exactly.
And the last one, we reached the last one, which is the gravity, which is the why in gravity, and it's your contribution. And you mentioned the powerful thing. It's actually it's the I think it's the conclusion of of your message, which is moving from success to significance.
Exactly.
Finding this purpose. It's not about just being successful. It's about the journey and having this purpose that make a significance, and as you said, continues generations after you.
Exactly.
So yeah, what would you like to say regarding this?
Yeah, I'd say your contribution is one of the most important ingredients within the success gravity and 7 keys to unlock your dream lifestyle, because it's like the ingredient, the glue that holds everything together. And once you've reached your pinnacle, or what you've defined success to be as for yourself, you've reached your goals, you've reached everything, it's very important to pay it forward, to look back and help other people to reach their level of success, or at least help them towards their road to success. So your contribution, we do a lot of impact, like where we are with JCI, Rania, you know this.
Yeah.
A lot of impact where we're making a difference. We're doing voluntary work, we're doing different projects, we're also helping each other, networking within JCI itself. And that's all part of your contribution, because the more you give, the more you're able to establish your own level of success. And again, your contribution is what actually gives your own success meaning. It gives significance and it gives gravitas to your own success. So the more you're able to look back and help other people, because then they will also grow, testifying that without your help, you were the one that had helped me. This organization helped me to get to where I am. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. That means your name is going further. This is your contribution. And if we're looking beyond the grave, like once you leave this earth, what do you want to be remembered for? Not just your success, that, oh, this person was a successful person in their field, but what did they do to impact the world? That is what people hold on to. So really having that focus, that generational mindset, that beyond my own lifetime mindset is what really puts all these ingredients together. Otherwise, what are we doing it for? If we're just doing it for ourselves, then that really doesn't achieve anything. It's selfish. We need to be people that are significance focused and generational focused as well. So your contribution is very important to have it, your success journey and your success story as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Avi. I just want to, this is the book, because we didn't share it. This is the book for everyone. And yeah, it was really awesome reading it and discussing it with you. And I would like, if you would like to talk about your travel project, you created a JCI for yourself.
Yes, exactly. So I started a travel agent or a travel concierge company called Epic Travel Tours. And what we're doing is twofold. We've got groups for individual women, either female solo travelers, to travel in groups and have experiences and share experiences in exotic places around the world. So we've got Bali, Hawaii, Zanzibar, Turkey, all these places you can think of, and we're definitely going to put Jordan in the mix. So we'll be various activities and getting to know each other, and also expand our reach within our global reach within different countries. And then we also have private custom trips that we do, so you don't have to be just a female solo traveler. If you want to travel as a family or a couple or just a man on your own, and you'd like us to plan your trip and do itineraries for you, all you need to do is just show up with your passport. We will do all the heavy lifting. We ensure that you've got the right accommodation according to your budget. You've got the activities that you like. So if you're into like adrenaline activities, we can do all the quad biking, jet skiing for you. And if you like things like relaxation, we've got the massages, the hammam, anything like that to keep you relaxed. But it's a project that we're so excited about, and we're getting a lot of sign-ups and excitement about about it. So yeah, definitely Epic Travel Tours. Look us up. That's again one of my multi-passionate things where I believe that you can't just restrict yourself to one thing. You can't just be a lawyer and that's who you are. You can't just be a doctor and that's who you are. Expand and see what else interests you, what else you can do in this one lifetime that we've got. So I believe that I reached my definition of what I wanted success to be, which was to achieve time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. So location freedom, if, for example, I go to Bali for a month, I can still have my coaching session with you, Rania, or anyone who wants to be writing a book, my clients, we can still continue because all I need is Wi-Fi. And in Bali, I can still be practicing. If, for example, we're doing the Epic Travel Tours and we've got travels anyway, I can have my own agents go with certain groups and take them. I'm not restricted to having to just stay in London in order to do all these different things that I'm passionate about. So this is really what I wanted to achieve: the location independence, time independence, and financial independence as well, which I managed to achieve. So really happy about that.
Yeah. And also, you mentioned about you give coaching sessions for anyone who would like to write a book, and also life coaching sessions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
life coaching and lifestyle coaching. So to like do an architect of your life, like what do you want in your life? What do you want to achieve? How do you see your life in 5 years, in 10 years? Where do you want to be? So yep, I do life coaching as well.
Yeah, so for anyone who would like to have a coaching session with you, he can or she can reach you through your email, right?
Yes, either email or my social media, Epi Mabika.
Okay.
All across all platforms, it's Epi Mabika.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed the discussion with you in
Yes,
every aspect, and I really yeah. Yeah, it was really thank you, Abby, really for your time, and we will keep in touch. And as I told you, I will give you the video, and I try to translate it in order for everyone to have the maximum benefit from it.
Excellent.
So thank you, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you, Abby.
So much. I'm really appreciative of you giving me this platform as well, where your viewers can hear what we had to say about the book and how we can help each other make a better life for each other as well. So thank you so much, Rania.
Thank you, Abby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.